Welcome to Lesson 4 in our From Ears to Fingers series, How to Play by Ear. And what we're going to talk about in this video are intervals. We've already touched upon whole steps and half steps as we've played through a scale. You know the pattern. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Now an interval is the distance between two notes. And so why should we study intervals? Well, learning to hear the intervals as well as the scales, this is going to help you when it comes to picking out melodies. Because what we're going to be doing down the road is I want you to think of a song, any song that you know. Maybe you can sing it, but you've never tried to play it. And so you're going to figure out how to pick out that melody. And what will help you to do this is a knowledge of the scale, because you can pick whatever key you want to play it on, and the intervals. So let's begin with the intervals. We're going to start on C. You're going to find certain intervals, by the way, popping up in a lot of melodies. So if we start from C, the shortest interval between C and another note would be called the minor second. And the interesting thing is that there are songs or melodies that use these intervals. Probably the most famous one that uses a minor second is the theme from Jaws. Now, maybe you're not old enough to remember that movie, but those of you who are over 40, maybe, I don't know. The movie came out in the 70s. You've probably seen it, but you remember this bit. That's a minor second. Now, if we go from C to D, we already know that's a whole step. So that interval is called a major second. So this is minor second, major second. The most famous song in the world that starts with this interval is... Can't play too much of that because I don't want to get, I don't want to get in trouble for copyright violation. Anyway, but you all know this tune. That is a major second. Now, if we go from C to D sharp or E flat, we have what's known as a minor third. A famous melody that you can use to identify the minor third is something that sounds like this. It sounds familiar, right? Brahms' Lullaby starts with a minor third. Okay, the next interval is a major third. Sounds kind of happy sound. There's a song that we have played that starts on this note. Kind of outlines that major third for you. Da, dum, dum. That's a major third. The next interval is, we call it the perfect fourth. It's perfect because there's no such thing as a minor fourth or a major fourth. It's the perfect fourth. The most famous song that's connected with this one is... You may have heard this at a wedding or two. Da-dum, ba-dum. That is a perfect fourth. Now the next interval, going from C to F sharp, that's called the tritone. It can also be called an augmented fourth. Augmented means you're taking a fourth and augmenting it, making it a little bit bigger, or a diminished fifth. We call it the tritone. And sometimes people have called this the devil's interval. Why? Well, that's a whole other story. Maybe we'll get into that in a bonus video somewhere. Not too many songs use this interval. The only one I can think of, and this is really obscure, but there's a musical written by Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim called West Side Story, and there's a song in there called Maria. Maria, Maybe some of your grandparents know this tune. Very unusual interval to use in a melody, but there it is. It may pop up from time to time. The next interval, if we go from C to G, we call that the perfect fifth. That really, it sounds like a little fanfare. Whoops. Then the next one is a minor sixth. And there's a famous song called Where Do I Begin? You know, or again, I don't expect a lot of you who are young to know that song, but maybe your parents do, your grandparents almost certainly do. Minor sixth. The next interval, you probably guessed, this would be a major sixth. There's an old tune that goes, My Bonnie lies over the ocean, ma-da. That's the major sixth. And then the next interval is, that's called a minor seventh. And actually, there's another song, also written by Leonard Bernstein, of all things, called There's a Place for Us. Once again, you may have to look it up on YouTube or find a record with it on there. Boy, am I dating myself. A record, a CD. Anyway. The first two notes of that song, minor seventh. And then finally we have probably one of the ugliest intervals of all. Major seventh. That's a tough one. I can only think of one song that uses it, another very obscure song to many of you. I actually play it in this key. It's an old Cole Porter song called I Love You. Ooh, very unusual. You're not going to find too many songs that use that interval. So there you go. You've got minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, tritone, perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and then if you keep going, that's what you might call an octave from C to C. Now, as you start to pick out melodies, you're going to find those intervals popping up. Anyway, you will find intervals and scales most useful in helping you pick out tunes. So, that's for intervals. Next time, we're going to be getting into building chords on the notes of a scale. Thanks again for watching. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. That way you will be notified when new videos are uploaded as we continue our series From Ears to Fingers.